I'm Trek with 2Ks. All right. And here we are. What is going on? Hola, buenas noches, buenas tardes, GnGs. My name is Trek with 2Ks, and this is Trek with 2K Live. Yeah, I'm definitely on the late one for this one, boy. Hold on one second. I gotta take these dog tags off because they're making hella noise. All right, so yeah, I definitely had to fight myself to get down here and do some things. So for those who don't know, I am Trek with 2Ks. This is the Trek with 2K live segment on the Gentleman of Crypto Network. I also got my own YouTube channel, and I'm still trying to work out this Twitch thing because I don't know what is going on with the videos on my Twitch side. But nonetheless, I do have a YouTube channel. If you would so kindly, if you're watching it over here, you don't got to watch it again per se, but if you could at least hit that like over on the other side and share, it would be greatly appreciated. And it's literally Trek with 2Ks, just like how you see my name spelled out. But so to bring people up to speed, again, if you're new to this, basically I go through Twitter and the things that catch my attention are the things that I talk about on this Monday. And usually it's like over a 7-day period. And, I just go from there. And for folks who've been around for a minute, you know what it is. I might go off on a tangent and talk about some, oh yeah, I remember when back in my day shit. And then for the new folks, this is like, I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get into some rant at some point of something and talk about something that I remembered or something that I read or watched in the interview, and somehow it connected to crypto for me. That's literally just how the stuff has been for me. For those who have been following for a minute, you know what I'm talking about. And nonetheless, though, thank you for the folks tapping in. I appreciate. I did have some things that caught my attention, but I definitely had to fight myself to come and set up the camera. Well, not the camera, but like set up the monitors and the computer stuff. And so here's where we are right now, doing this right on a Monday night, because my Mondays is when it works out for me. That's crazy. Yeah. So also, I'm over here trying to figure out. Like I said, what's going on with the Twitch stuff. And hopefully I figure it out sooner or later. I do realize that with using Restream and how I was using my camera stuff before, it definitely, doing the no camera thing has alleviated a lot of the lag and sluggishness that I got within the setup. Granted, it might just be that I just need a better, newer Surface Pro or whatever. But I think I might have to run with this for a minute until I come up with another solution. So for now, this is what y'all are getting as far as what the no camera thing looks like. It's my animated mug on, this gift that I made like a number of years ago at this point. Really, I really made this like a while ago. But yeah, so let us jump into some of these things that caught my attention. It really won't let me do it. All right, I got to figure out this Twitch thing at some other point. It is a different beast than YouTube. So, all right, where are we? Doop. Oh, okay, I gotta do that, then do that. Okay. There we go. All right, so hopefully that visually makes sense. I thought it would have been bigger, but anywho. Let me jump over here. Again, this is always the one-man show thing. So I'll be multitasking. It's not doing it for me. Why is it not doing it? That don't even make sense. Okay, I don't know why I did that. All right. All right. So where is that going then? That makes no sense. Anywho, yeah, Twitch definitely works different. So let me jump into some of these headlines that caught my attention during the last couple of days. Is that the one? Okay, that did work. Yeah, I'm over here trying to figure out some stuff with the phone and the monitor, and yeah. So all right. So yeah, let me jump into this. All right. So the first thing, well, one of the older things, I usually go from like the older stuff to the newer things that catch my attention. One or two of these things kind of repeat. But as you see, where is it? Right here. Whale Watcher Guru is one of wait, is it showing? No, it does not show my mouse. My bad. Nonetheless, Whale Watcher Guru, as I said, is one of the accounts I follow on Twitter. And so this got put out about the Federal Reserve withdraws crypto activity reporting requirements for banks. So arguably, my question is that the head nod or the hat tip to I don't want to say like to the bank folks, because they already got the word on what was going on, right? They got the official emails sent out or the phone calls or whatever, or there was the meeting that was like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. But this is more about those of us out here in the regular average Joe market who have no connection, to those type of meetings. So is this going to generate a whole what is that, FOMO, fear of missing out? Probably, especially with the shenanigans that's like about to come down the pike. How do I say this? For some of the things that I've been paying attention to, this arguably is like the setup, right? So in another couple of months, you're gonna hear how X number of like banks, like a Bank of America or a PMC, what is that, PMCG or PMCB? I forgot exactly the letters of it, but you're going to hear how these banks are now like, hey, look, we offer blah 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 for cryptocurrencies, right? Like we'll do storage for you, oh yeah, we've been down since 20. So I'm gonna tell you some ridiculous ass thing like, oh yeah, we've been down since 2011. And if you've been in the space for a minute, it's gonna be like, yo, that's total BS. Like, you know what? Oh God. Again, one of those back in the day stories. Like, I remember when, on some real shit though, I remember when USAA had the ability, there was a function on USAA where you can buy crypto, and I don't remember if it was a connection through Coinbase, but it was a early thing. And this is pre 2017. And I want to say it happened maybe around 15. I honestly don't know too many military people who even knew about it. And I didn't come across it until probably 2018 or 2019. And I was like, when did this happen. The point being is that it seems like the way the Trump administration is working, there's a lot of head nodding, there's a lot of meetings and policy changes being put out that is very much the opposite of what the previous administration has been about in relation to cryptocurrencies as far as financial institutions. And I don't even want to say businesses, like, but businesses in terms of like, are you doing quote crypto things to where like FinCEN or the CFTC or the SEC had to look at you, right? Because at this point now, like, you don't really hear any craziness about crypto ATMs, right? You don't hear anything about the websites that were the social boards for the Bitcoin exchanges. Granted, they definitely throttled and quashed the hell out of those sites. Like, those are nothing but like Fed boards. So whatever y'all are out there doing, if you're messing around with those kind of communication platforms for your crypto, like, do you caution. But nonetheless, like, the it seems as though the government policy and stance on this crypto industry has changed a great deal, and arguably in less than 100 days, in about 100 days, right? But this will be a very, very big thing, but we really won't see how it plays out until the next couple of months, right? So then, oh my God. So then the question turns into, at least in my mind, right? If we're not publicly, if the banks are Federal Reserve withdraws crypto activity reporting requirements for banks. So then you get into, arguably, there's going to be a rehypothecation and a mixing of the bags down the road, which is the same thing we saw happen in the last couple of years with the space and how the cash works. Like, that's how overnight bank lending works, right? That's literally just a mixing of the bags, and it's not even actual like, hey, I'm giving you the $100, hold on to this for the next 12 to 24 hours and then give it back to me. It's like, all right, I'm giving you this IOU of $100, and then you turn around and go to the next one and be like, yo, I'll give you this IOU of like the $100 or the $90. I don't remember the exact, if it has to be the exact same amount, but this intermixing, arguably, this is probably the same setup that's going to start playing out in the crypto space. Is it going to start in this administration? I don't know. But I feel like that's the direction that they're going to move in, where it's going to be a lot of not virtue signaling, but the banks are going to be doing shenanigans on the back end. And for the folks who don't understand that distinction of like you holding the asset in a positive control sense, and you have the ability to audit and look at and see where this digital asset is and who is let's say who has use case of it, which, and I remember Reggie made this point a number of years ago about how the thing that made crypto one of the interesting points to him is that it's separated, its distinction from physical assets, its distinction from other types of financial instruments, especially in the digital age, was that you can have ownership, control, storage, and something else. You can separate those as different abilities or functions. So it can be held one place, quote, held one place in a type of wallet, but yet the ownership can be through a different entity or party that is not necessarily the one holding it, right? And then you have it that the ability to execute or do something or take an action with it doesn't have to be by the owner, doesn't have to be by the place holding it. Like, that's the distinction in how this technology enabled a new type of financial instrument that has a whole new scale of function that you don't have in traditional financial assets. But nonetheless, we'll see how this works out down the road. If I remember that I even bookmarked this, hopefully somebody else remembers. And, somebody will be like, hey, you remember when you said blah, blah, blah? I'm going to probably be like, nah, I don't remember I said that. But it sounded like something I would say. I'm dead ass. I will more than likely say that. But yeah, we're gonna see how this plays out over this administration. But I think it's gonna be more towards the next administration that this removing the requirement for banks to report their crypto activity is gonna be more apparent on the what's going on in the next administration. We might start, depending on where you are in the world, as far as like what you're paying attention to and who you interact with, you might see some of the stuff playing out right now because you're in that lane of connection. But most of us ain't gonna catch this until the next administration, right? Next one I wanted to focus on was this joint right here by Jason Lopp. Like, I don't be agreeing with everything Jason say, but this one definitely it definitely had me, because I feel like if you've been in this space for a minute, and not if you've been in the space as far as like you've been on the chase the bag from 2016 2014 or whatever, and I've said this before, those of us who were in this space early and we were more looking at this thing about economic sovereignty and like the cypherpunk mentality, like as we progressed further in the years leading to the decade, leading to Bitcoin being a teenager and all of that funness, it was only a matter of time before we were and slash are the minority mindset or the minority outlook for this technology and how we see the use case, what we see the value as, what we see the inherent pros of it versus what others would see as the inherent con. Like, oh, it can't scale, and oh, well, you can't like perfectly identify the user of it. Like, yeah, there's a level of identity that goes into crypto as far as being able to track and trace stuff, and Bitcoin in particular, but it doesn't have the, how do I say this, for how it is being pushed and developed now, where we're more on this thing of like, well, of course you should be able to identify who has it and who doesn't. Of course you should be able to know that it's John and he lives at blah, blah, blah street in this country. Of course you should be able to know that, on Tuesday he went and talked with, let's say Jacob, and they exchanged wallets amounts, right? Like, we're in this age where more, well, not more per se, but it's being one of those, like, it's not absurd to say KYC should be a thing. Where back in the day, it's like, what? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What you mean you want to know what's in my wallet? Granted, we did have that early, that 2014 and the 16 period, but more like 15, 16, where it was all about showing off your wallets. And then a lot of people got off of showing off their wallets the way they were showing it off. Like, there were the people who were being transparent as far as like, hey, I'm showing you what I'm putting my money in or how I'm flipping the crypto, blah, blah, blah. But there were definitely the folks who were just on some braggadocious business. And it was just like, I'm out here being rich, right? Where are those folks now? Heaven only knows, right? Oh, shout outs to my guy Kenzie, by the way, man. Definitely been really interesting slash cool to see his growth, his transformation. Your man done moved on to the part where, like, he don't even be talking about the space like that, right? And I so understand that part of where he at now, where you live in it, you breathe it, and then like you're like, all right, it helped me get to this stage of life, and I'm good. Like, I don't got to be in the rat race to like bring the attention or this or explain it or describe, the Bitcoin is going to do this or crypto is going to do that for people. And to that point of when you're in it for a while, and I think it also depends on like how active you are in this space, you get to a point where you just on some like, I don't even bring this up to people anymore. Like my coworkers, have no clue about this side. Like they don't know about the conferences I done spoke at. They don't know how I traveled around the world on some shit with this. Like no clue at all. Right. And I don't even bother to say nothing to them. Why? Because like, why? Literally, like why? Like they have their opinions, and we definitely get into our talks about other things, right? And in our lives and stuff. And my one coworker says it to me all the time. He's like, yo, you just be opening up saying things, and then this is like, wait, you did what? Like, wait, you know what? Like you like a little surprise box of stuff like you've been doing. I'm like, bro, but I'm also older than all of y'all in here. Like, of course I've been doing things. And not all of those things that I've done are like the expected of like, if you see me, it'd be one of those like, oh, well, he doesn't listen to country, or I don't listen to Korean rock, or I don't know who BTS is. I've not been to some of the places I've been in the world. Right. And I'm not even gonna lie, and I know I'm going off on a rant on this one right now. I enjoy those moments when I say and do things that people are like, "Oh snap! I didn't expect that from you." I'm okay with that. Why? Because at this point, it's just like it's not a me problem. That's a you, right? And I'm gonna say this one last thing. So, I bought a Yeehaw truck, y'all. I bought a Yeehaw truck like a month or something ago. And I am so waiting for that moment of when I hop out this Yeehaw truck. It's a 1990 Ford F-150 with the 2-inch lift on it. I got and I bought it this way. So matte black body color, definitely looks its age, but it still looks maintained well enough. There's a couple of things I got to do to it, but I'm so waiting for the day I go driving someplace and I hop out and I see the double takes. Like I'm waiting for that day, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. Like I said, man, I just be doing things that people just don't expect. And like I said, it's not a me problem. That sounds like a you problem. But to this point about how Jameson Lopp said it, as Bitcoin is adopted by and redistributed to new cohorts, it can evolve in ways earlier adopters dislike, leaving them disillusioned. The Suitcoiners are here, and they aren't driven by libertarian or cypherpunk ideals, which is 100. And I literally, when I reposted it on there, and I think he either agreed with the comment or he liked the repost, I said 100% big facts. And again, to the point that I made earlier, like those of us who are on that libertarian cypherpunk economic, sovereignty thing in the early days of it, we were the majority then because we were ahead of the quote curve at that point. But once the adoption starts to really get in, guess what? We turn into the minority. Why? Because most of the people who are looking at this as a financial instrument that allows them to have some function, right, within this expanding new age of money and monetary systems, it isn't a per se, how do I say this? It isn't like I need just the base functionality part. I hear you on this stuff about like the transparency or the privacy, but does this help me get food? Does this help me take care of my bills? Does this help me send, financial aid back to my family? if you're not telling me it does any of those things, then all of this other stuff you're talking about, like, it sound cool, but I need to address my reality. And my reality is those other things are higher priorities, right? And I think that, and I remember Andreas Antonopoulos said this like way early in how he said the adoption and the development of Bitcoin will be in like the second and third tier countries. And if you look at how things are going, like we got, and I think I said this last week, you got a couple of use cases or situations where like, yeah, it seems like it's doing some development in certain places. So you have like the Central African Republic, CAR, right? They did something for their legal part of like, hey, Bitcoin is going to be a part of the economic system. You have what's going on with Bukele. You have what is going on. Who's the other person? Or not other person, but other place. I forget the other Latin American place. But yeah, those smaller or like those unique situations are happening. But when you look at what is going on in these first tier nation states, case in point of a Russia, case in point of the US, case in point of UAE, right? They're pushing the technology as a financial instrument to be more in line with traditional financial policies, such as the transportation laws, such as KYC, such as the what is it, under the Five Eyes and stuff like that. Like they're not moving uh what is it uh, towards, or they're not trying to um indoctrinate this technology into the system that allows, quote, more freedom, that allows more agency, that allows more privacy. Like the technology can work in those environments, but that's not what's being pushed by the policies or by how the technology is being moved into that direction. That's where we are. And that's the to the part that he was saying about like the disillusionment of it, where it's just like, so we have the technology that had all of these functions to it, and then in order to, quote, get it to do a level of mainstream adoption, we turned around and said, well, let's take away some of the functions and don't change any of the actual policies that we use to regulate traditional financial spaces. We'll just make the technology conform to the policies going forward from here. Now that we have enough adoption, but more importantly, now that we have enough of a traditional mindset foothold in it. And I'm gonna get to an example of that in a minute about the traditional mindset. Moving on from Jameson Lopp's posts. Don't mind me. Y'all know I be, if you've been seeing me do this thing about the Twitter stuff for a while, like I definitely be following a couple of different people and certain things be catching my attention outside of crypto, political stuff, financial stuff. If you actually follow my Twitter account, like some of the other things, because some days the internet and Twitter in particularly just makes me laugh. And sometimes I gotta share the laugh. And then sometimes I just gotta share the shenanigans and like the fuckery, because there's definitely some days I scroll through Twitter where I'm just like, yo, this is nothing but fuckery. But nonetheless, jumping into this next one, another person that I follow, Caitlin Long. So in this one, this is on the 24th. She said, I just noticed the Fed didn't rescind its January 27, 2023 anti-crypto guidance, which the board voted 7-0 to approve at the time, but it appears to have rescinded all other guidance it issued without a board vote. I think this means the Fed didn't come yet in parentheses comply with Trump's EO. And this was based on something. This is her reposting for the folks who might not be looking at the screen right now, but are just listening to what I'm talking about. this is her doing a response to the Federal Reserve's Twitter account where they were like, at Federal Reserve announces the withdrawal of guidance for banks related to their crypto assets and dollar token activities and related to changes as its expectations for these activities. So again, like sometimes you got to either look at depending on what your interest is, right? You're either looking at the like the direct entity, whether it be a company or a person, or you're going to follow like the more observant or technically smarter people who know more about that industry or thing. Case in point, Caitlin Long is one of those people. Again, I might not agree with all of what she say, but she do be noting some things in areas that are definitely beyond me, right? And that's what you got to do. You got to pay attention to the people who know more about that thing and then cross-reference what they say and be like, okay, here's where these points touch and here's what makes sense. Here's what I understand. And that's a part of that, like that, the due diligence, right? You want to understand the thing, go read directly whatever that entity or person is saying, and then step back one and look at the people who are observing that entity or person and then see what they're saying, and you cross-reference all of that. Case in point, I got a coworker who the other day we were talking about something and I'm like, yeah, but like if all you're doing is taking mainstream stories and then telling me, well, of course this is right because of X, Y, and Z, because I've seen it on, MSNBC or Fox or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but are you listening to any of the outside news sources that are talking about the stuff that's actually in the country? Well, no, why would I do that? Because then it has to be in the language of that home country. No, it doesn't. That's not how that works. Like, I'm not going to run particularly down that rabbit hole, but the point being is about when it comes to due diligence, like you have to use arguably a multiple layer of strategy to cross-reference. So it helps you hopefully to understand whatever that topic, subject, or person, or business, or company, or entity that you're trying to understand. Like you don't just watch one YouTube video on rehypothecation and then be like, all right, I 100% get it. I know everything ins and outs about it. Like that's not a proper way of research or doing your due diligence on any topic. Just saying. Because what it is they used to say, like, you got to read like 10 books or something or 12 books on a subject, and then that would make you quote like the relative expert on it if you read 12 books on a subject. Nowadays, you just watch like, 5, maybe 8 different YouTube videos varying in length of like 15 minutes to maybe an hour and a half, depending on how dense or heavy that topic is. And you will probably know more about that thing than the average person. This is also assuming you are using cross-referencing as a method of figuring out what makes sense and what points are congruent between all those sources. Anywho, I ran on that one, but this also, as far as this Caitlin Long post, it does go to the thing about them taking away the reporting guidance. And again, I think this is the setup in this administration, but we'll see it more apparent at our level, the everyday person level, probably towards the end of the administration and more in your face in whoever sits in the administration after this. So this is another joint. Yo, shout outs to Stack, the content cousins. And Erin, shout outs to Erin too. Seeing a video the other day. I like that yellow room. Dope. I like that. I like the vibe on that. I have a sitting room that I have my plants in, and this is a yellow, but it's not as vibrant as her yellow. I don't know if it might have been the camera, but nonetheless, shout outs to her. Hey, positive vibes on for you, the family, everything y'all dealing with. Looking forward to the next video. But let me jump into this joint. So I'm again scrolling through, and then I see this post by Stack, and I'm like, all right, what's this about? So Jack Mahler, is now the head guy behind this company called 21, and he's in collaboration with SoftBank, and it's not SoftBank as the main shareholder. SoftBank is like, I think, the minority holder in this particular agreement. Not gonna play the video, but if you look through Jack Mallers' stuff, you'll definitely find it. If you see Vivek, which is who Stacks was taking it off of, again, from my understanding, excuse me, and how I was listening to this video, or at least what he said and what I understood or took away from this video. One, they are doing a crypto, well, really a Bitcoin derivative, a Bitcoin ETF, and he specifically in his explanation does not talk about ownership of direct Bitcoin, does not talk about what was the other thing? It was another phrase, because I said something on, you know what, let me see if I'll open this up. Was this my response that's in here? Yeah, all right, so bet. I make the point, I say, notice the words he avoids and the words used. Never says own or derivative, uses in terms of Bitcoin. At the end of the day, this is a derivative financial product. That's my take on this. And I also said I was going to talk about this on the next live. But my point is that if you listen to this over 10-minute explanation that he does, and we all, well, those of us who've been in the space for a while and we've been paying attention to Jack Ma, we know he's very direct in terms of how he will jump out on a live, he will do a tweet, and he will, hey, this is what's going on with the company. Hey, here's my thought on blah, blah, blah with Bitcoin. Hey, here's my thought on what's going on with the crypto space. Blah, blah, blah. He arguably, he's almost like a Gary V in terms of how comfortable he is with just jumping out in front of the camera to talk about things within the space. But at the same time, as you see how the title of this episode looks, I'm like, is Mahler being a grifter right now? Is he showing the true colors, or is he turning into a grifter? I don't know which way to call it per se, right? Here's what I know based on what he said in this video, though. He doesn't talk about owning Bitcoin, and he doesn't say that this is a derivative product of Bitcoin. So the basic of it is the company's called 21, so it's XXI 21. Him and whoever the other investors are, along with SoftBank, are putting in the $4 billion in order to get like a couple, I think, couple 100,000 worth of Bitcoin. And then what they're doing is, from that point, they're going to acquire you. Okay, the company would go public. You have the ability to buy a stock basically in the company, and they will give you the breakdown of the value of it in terms of Bitcoin. It doesn't mean you own the Bitcoin. It doesn't mean that you have access to the Bitcoin. None of that. And in my mind, I don't see this lasting. And part of why I say that is because of the SoftBank connection, and like, I haven't paid 100% attention to SoftBank like that, but I feel like SoftBank gets into deals, and the deal could be 100% a money pit. Ooh, hold on one second. Yeah, so the deal could be 100% a money pit, and they will definitely ride it out for like 3-5 years. And I don't know what the strategy is on that. And like, understand, this isn't me saying this as I'm a financial advisor, or I'm an economist, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm somebody who like knows basic accounting stuff like that, right? Especially on this business level. But just, being a fly on the wall over the years of Bitcoining the crypto space, we have seen time and time again when big name companies will partner with known personalities in the space in order to do something. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Clark? And they'll just do their run. They do a 2-year run. Maybe they do a 3-year, 5-year run. Rarely do we see 5. Like, let me put this in context. For the number of partnerships and companies that we see, or that we have seen come up in this space over the years, right? The ratio of companies that have popped up and partnerships that have been put together versus how many of them go beyond 3 years. Definitely how many of them go beyond 5 years. Like, at the end of the day, it's not a high, it's a crazy flop-sided ratio, right? And so my point to that is, like, and this is a direct shot at Jack, but it is definitely a question on, like, are you just, how am I say this? Are you being a grifter right now? Because at the end of the day, this is not actual ownership of Bitcoin. This is an IOU through a soon to be, I believe, publicly available company. I don't know if it's NASDAQ or which one, but we're about to see a new wave of this. Arguably, we're about to see a new wave of this, and this being, because, like, SoftBank isn't the only type of investor out there. Jack Mallers is not the only one as a personality within the space that could be used as the front guy to do another business entity like this. So he just might be the first person out the gate right now. But we'll see how this moves forward. Again, I tagged it, so eventually why are you not moving? Oh, that's why. Revisit this down the road, and we see what it means, how it plays out. Okay, no. This was a very interesting thing, but I'm not going to get into that because that's like way off. But you know me, I might come back to it. So here is another thing that caught my attention. So I didn't realize that apparently Ross has been out about as long as Trump's been in office, right? And so I didn't even know he was married. I don't know when that part happened, but, like, congratulations on the whole marriage thing. Cool. Enjoy that part of life and the freedom that you can have with that. So real quick on the read. So it's like, I've been out of prison for exactly 3 months now. It's been quite a journey so far and just keeps getting better. My wife and I started an Instagram account. We'll be sharing photos and glimpses of our new life on there. If you'd like to follow, it's at, and then he says what it is. Now, initially, again, I'm definitely saying congrats on the being out, the whole wife thing. And I'll be honest, I don't know where the wife part comes in. I don't know anything about her. And that I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna be interested enough to go ask people who are more close to his situation and be like, all right, so who is she? And, like, where did she come up on all of this? I'm just gonna sit back and be a fly on the wall of Twitter and, like, look at how the posts go. And I guess to say the the proof is in the pudding, or the evidence will speak for itself. Is he about to turn into a grifter? Is he about to, hey, like, I did my time, I learned some things while I was inside, and now I'm gonna put it to use? I don't know. Maybe. Because literally it was one comment in here that was just like, oh, the setup. And I said, I didn't think that until I read the comment. Damn. So who knows where this is gonna go? Is he about to start pushing like traditional business stuff? Like, not business stuff, but like traditional banking stuff. Like, has he changed his ways, and now he's like the and I don't mean it in the way of like poking fun or talking down, but in terms of like, now that he's out, is he just about to be like a whole 180 flip of like, yes, we have to do, KYC in banking, and like we have to make sure that crypto works the way traditional banking stuff works? I don't know. Excuse me. I might actually go and, check out the Instagram account. I imagine he probably got some consultant on that Instagram account, or somebody gave him the idea to do the Instagram account. So yeah, I'm like 8 times out of 10 going to follow up and check out the Instagram account to see what all of that's about. And at some point, I'm gonna come back and tell y'all your boy's a grifter, or I'm gonna be like, all right, bet, like, he out here doing the thing. I'm still waiting to see whose conference he's gonna be at. Or he might just be like on some like, I'm just staying away from crypto. He might have also had to make some concessions on the whole, like, all right, I get this pardon and I won't do blah blah blah. I don't know, but time will tell. Eventually time does expose things, as they say. Another thing that I was paying attention to about 60 minutes, but moving on. And then something else again with Jameson Lott. As I've mentioned before, I'll be following Woo Blockchain. I find some of the stuff they offer as Twitter posts to be interesting at times, because it's just, things you stick in the back of your brain, right? So what is this? One of them is on Nexo has officially announced its return to the U.S. markets, planning to offer high-yield crypto saving accounts, asset-backed credential lines, trading and liquidity services, and retail institutional clients. Oh, wait. Liquidity services to retail and institutional clients. The announcement was made at an exclusive business event offered by, including Donald Trump's Jr. Previously, in late 2022, Nexo. All right, so again, we're seeing multiple things go on where the Trump family name pops up in these crypto related events or news stories. It definitely seems like there is some setup happening with the Trump family and the crypto space. Like, there's some synergy things going on. I'm just saying, do your due diligence, y'all. Do your due diligence, because I can definitely see how people will be left holding the bag in a number of those dealings. As far as this Nexo thing, if you've been in the space for a minute, you knew they were, a sizable exchange to be able to use to do things on. To that point of the banks being able to now like do more crypto activity stuff without quote reporting about it, like, it literally says some of the products that they're going to offer once they fully come back into this US market. I don't know how much money per se the retail folks is going to have during this administration to be doing stuff with y'all, but you're also going to be competing with the established banks. So that's a JP Morgan, a Bank of America, uh, Fidelity. Like, you're going to already be competing with those institutions, not to mention the stuff that's going on with Robinhood right now. What's the other one? What's that the other app that I can't remember the name of right now? Weeble? Is it Weeble? I think it's Weeble. Like, everyone's gonna start offering their version of sliced bread. That's what it seems like. Okay, bet. That's what it seems like is going on. Everyone's going to start offering their version of sliced bread because the administration's attitude and policy guidance has seemingly shifted. But in my opinion, and I'm just some guy on the internet who you can't even see his face right now, it's a I guess it's like one of those, you got to see who of the traditional institutions and traditional entities are making moves, and like if you see either certain folks or a certain amount of folks, you go, okay, there has to be some level of projected stability to this, that this policy, this new let's say environment, is not going to change by the end of this administration. That's my takeaway, because it definitely seems like there is a setup happening right now with the banking institutions, with the crypto adjacent financial institutions, that seems like, all right, we're making the bed and everyone's going to be able to sell their own version of sliced bread. But this will definitely go beyond this current administration. That's what it kind of looks like to me right now. But time will tell, because as you can see, for how the administration be doing the international bilateral trade stuff and tariffs, it be something that's up today and then it's down tomorrow. And then come next week, we're going to talk about something totally different. I mean, I got people arguing with me, telling me like, no, that's the art of the deal. That's how he does it. I mean, other sovereign nations and diplomats and government officials don't do business like that, but we're gonna see how this play out. Next joint. According to Reuters, Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund ADQ conglomerate IHC and First Abu Dhabi Bank announced plans to jointly launch a dirham-backed stablecoin, which will be fully regulated by the UAE Central Bank to support the country's expansion into digital assets. If you see this, you can just go directly to the Reuters website and you'll find this article somewhere in there. If anything, you could also probably go to like the UAE Central Bank website and find it too. So there was another title that I had, or like subtitle that I had in the longer title, about like stablecoins expansion. And again, the last couple of months, like, we've literally been seeing headlines and Twitter posts about stable coins being used in these new deals. And I said this, I want to say more than a year ago. I said this more than a year ago. We're going to get to a point where you're going to start seeing, and we're not seeing like the spillover or the run of the mill of it, but China did start that whole thing of like, all right, we're going to make direct bilateral trade deals in relation to their crypto, their stable coin, their digital yuan, when it was Indonesia and it was the UAE too, matter of fact. um that whole sandbox region, like, they in the mix of a number of things, man. And arguably they see the writing on the wall as far as how to go forward with with the with the changing landscape of the money medium. And when I say the money medium, I mean in terms of of the technology on how an exchange of value will move. That's what I'm talking about. And so here you have that announcement, and and as you can see, or let me at least read it out to you so you can hear. There's another tweet by Wu Blockchain above the one I just read that says MasterCard announced the launch of a global stablecoin payment system covering wallet enablement, card issuance, merchant settlement, and on-chain remittances, and will partner with OKX to issue a OKX card, linking crypto trading with everyday spending. MasterCard is also is also collaborating with Circle, Nueve, and Paxos to enable direct merchant settlements in stablecoins. Again, stablecoins is this administration might be the stablecoins golden years, like on the expansion front. And whether we talking about Circle, whether we talking about Tether, whether we talk about XRP, like this might be their golden era for expansion, and in terms dominating some of these trade deals, or at least being in the mix as one of the options. Now, other thing to note on here is, like, they didn't say which stablecoin it was. I'm not going to go through the thing of actually reading in on the CoinDesk article itself. You can do that because, again, don't believe what I say. Cross-reference this stuff at your leisure. Do your due diligence on this stuff, because as I say, like, I don't do price talk on here, so I'm not telling you, oh, like, this is the way to go as far as if you want to chase the bag. Chase the bag if you want to. Don't chase the bag if you don't want to. Either way, I'm gonna just still talk my shit that I talk on here about this stuff, right? Stable coins look like they about to be in the wind of it. Like, all right, not worry about that one. Oh, this is kind of crazy though. If you're reading what this says, pause the screen and go back to it. Like, that's wild. But I'm not even gonna touch that one. All right, so another one by these the folks over at CoinDesk is this situation with Tether Gold is backed by 7.27 tons of physical gold stored in a Swiss vault. Tether declared in its products first attestation. There we go. So my question on that is, and this is how I like reposted it, is does that mean I can sell my Tether and then redeem the gold that it's supposed to represent? I imagine not. But I think this is a how do I say this? I don't want to say writing on the wall, but more like, if you're not a precious metals person and you haven't been paying attention to any of the stuff going on in the precious metals arena right now, like, China is killing it on purchases of gold, right? And from what I understand, for the smarter folks that I'm paying attention to, this whole thing of what's going on with the gold price movement, or like the gold acquisition, it's not a retail market thing. This has nothing to do with the everyday person who's buying like their 1 or 2, ounces of gold a month, or if you're doing like $500 worth of gold, whatever. It don't got nothing to do with those folks. This is literally like country level, family trust level folks who are buying like tonnage. Okay. And the main dog in that fight right now is not America. It's not us. It's China. And so I bring this up to say a couple of things that are at least of interest to me. If I have Tether Gold, right, do I have the ability to sell it back and then actually acquire physical control of the physical gold. That's my thought on that. And the thought of what was Tether seeing in the international market or in the international financial world that made them go, hey, we need to push this product, but when we push it, as far as how it's being backed, we can't do the USD, we can't do the basket of blah blah blah. We need to get over and we need to do physical asset of gold. I'm curious, but again, I'm not gonna look into it like that. I'm still not the biggest fan of Tether or of stablecoins in general. I understand their purpose. I do. I don't participate in that part of this crypto space like that as far as the trading side stuff. So the use case isn't as applicable to me, right? I'm not the target user for this product. And again, jumping up to this other post and MasterCard. This is out through MasterCard. Today we announced our end-to-end capabilities to support stablecoins, ensuring payments can be made or received using them anytime, anywhere, alongside proven leaders across Web3, finance, and fintech. We're empowering customers and businesses to use stablecoins easily as the money in their bank account. Here's how. Like, and who remembers when MasterCard was like so anti-crypto? When they started going like, oh no, you can't use our cards to do that. Who remembers when like the early exchange companies or like the early like mom and pop type businesses, like once like they got whiff that people were using the crypto through the card or like to make that connection, they stopped it. And then once they figured out like, well, how do we do it where we can still be, because remember here in the US, you only get an option as far as having that larger scalability of use with MasterCard and Visa, because you ain't hear nothing about Discover. And I'm trying to remember the EU probably is like how do I say it? How stable is it going to be? I don't know, because everything that I'm hearing says that the EU has a whole bunch of troubles going on right now. So I guess we'll see, like if it really pan out, if it works, and then the other part, like if their manufacturing is going down right now because of the other issues that they have within their economy, like what is the stable coin going to do? Because who's going to agree to take the stable coin from them if they're not pushing out any actual, like they're not pushing out the same volume of product? So how's that going to work? I don't know, but nonetheless, we'll see. Like, and then MasterCard and Visa are international, so is that going to be added on there? Again, they're not saying which stable coins are on here, so I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see how that part works, right? Time will tell. All right. So I tapped on this and I didn't read this thing yet, but I'm curious about it because who remembers when we were on this whole stupid kick about green energy and how we need to have Bitcoin be on green energy and it needs to be more environmentally friendly and blah 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 blah. And this was like all like, post the whole C19 period where it was a real big fervor, and like Elon said his little comment and everybody's like, see, even Elon gets it, you got to be green and da da da. And then mind you, the folks who are at the like 1,000 square foot 10,000 square foot facilities were already transitioning into greener energy avenues, right? And then you already have people who are working on doing things that were like, all right, let's take this byproduct of the heat energy and then let's reuse it for other things such as greenhouses and stuff like that, right? but no one was really like giving that stuff its due. And now here we are. Cambridge Digital Mining Industry Report comes out of Cambridge University, Judge Business School. It's something I'm gonna have to look into later because I am curious about this, and I have to cross-reference this with a couple other people that I know to be like, all right, like how much of this is real and how much of this is just fluff BS that Cambridge threw out to, I don't know, like make it seem like they know what they talk about in the industry. I don't know. Because yeah, like it was a whole thing. And everywhere you turn, Bitcoin is bad because it uses too much energy, and crypto is bad. Like we can't do proof of work anymore because proof of work is bad for the environment. And it's like, yeah, we got to do green and we got to do solar. And then mind you, like no one was actually paying attention to how much energy it and then we like eased into the whole talk about AI, and then everything like left crypto mining facilities. No one was paying attention to mom and pop facilities. Mom and pop backyard basement level folks weren't on the radar because just for the energy consumption, it's not the same thing as opposed to like the large space facilities, right? And then we just like eased into the whole AI thing. And AI got like none of the smoke that the Bitcoin mining stuff got. Mind you, the AI facility, like to do the back end for AI and even for cloud networks, data centers. Do you know how much energy cloud backup data centers take? Do you know how much energy AI facilities for the servers and all that? Like those joints take a hell of amount of quote non-environmentally friendly non-environmentally friendly energy production. But no one talks about that. No one like addressed that part of it. What does that say? Cheap viewers on Streamboo. I don't know what that is. Um all right, so what does that say? Yeah, I'm not even gonna read your name right now because that might be a setup, and I don't need that in my life right now. But I appreciate that somebody on Twitch caught me. I appreciate. Um, yeah, I'll come back. So yeah, like I was saying, like, it's just interesting that this comes out now, and it's just like, yeah, so crypto or Bitcoin mining in particular has moved into more renewable energy. I'm So zero emissions is like a misnomer for how energy works, especially like the dissipation or the byproduct of like you make the thing that generates the energy and the byproduct as the waste of it. Like misnomer for how they be labeling stuff, but that's where we are right now. Whatever. I will have to follow up with this another time to try to see like are they actually saying stuff or does it really matter? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's the last thing. And I am about done with this. Why? Because I'm already over an hour and yapping and rambling and going on about, this stuff that caught my attention in the crypto space. But hey, if there is anything, hey, what's going on there, Marcus? That y'all might see on Twitter or something, like tag me. If it does enough to scratch my brain, I'll bring it up. I will bring it up. I promise. Because I know I definitely don't be paying attention enough to crypto Twitter or Twitter in general these days, just because like I'm just at a different point with this whole thing now. Like it's there. I know things are happening in it, but it doesn't hold the same place that it once held for me And going to Jameson Lop's point earlier about like as we make this maturation of the crypto space into the more normalization of everyday life, my views and how I see this stuff, I'm getting disillusioned. I'm turning into the old head. I said this the last couple episodes. I'm on that unk level now. Like I remember back in my day, blah 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 blah. So like I peek my head in on crypto Twitter and Twitter in general every now and then. I see stuff that catch my attention, and then I bring it to y'all on Monday. Like, hey, here's these things that I have a thought on, and I've seen that something is repeating more than once. This might be a trend. This might be an indicator. Time will tell down the road what's up and how this stuff plays out. But at the end of the day, as I keep saying to y'all, like, I'm just some guy on the internet. Do your own due diligence. I don't do this stuff for price talk. I literally just cut on the what's the thing called where you can monetize your channel. I just turned the monetization button on like today on my actual channel. We'll see how this plays out. Honestly, I think my channel might get strikes. And I don't even have all of the videos that I've done over the years on there, but I'm waiting to see. I'm gonna give it like a month and see how this plays out. If assuming my stuff don't get any strikes, we'll see. I might just turn the monetization thing back off if it does, because I was never worried about this being a moneymaker for me. So whatever. But anywho, it's a Monday night. I hope y'all had a productive over busy day. I hope that your weekend was cool. I know my weekend was cool because I got to hang with the family and stuff like that. And I made it from point A to B and got to see the family, got to see the friends and stuff like that. Hopefully y'all had a good time this weekend too. It was a good weekend. The weather was cool, right? And as I say, like from one human to the next, the best thing I can wish is that you are in a safe place, in a safe space, and with good company. And yeah, I am about to be out and calling this a night because your boy has that W-2 to deal with in the morning. And yeah, we'll see how it work out next week because I'm about to be out in the field for a bit, playing gang. And I might not be paying total attention like that to the Twitter stuff. But again, if y'all see some interesting things, tag me. I'll look over it. We'll see how it scratches my brain, and I might bring this up next Monday. What is it? What is my thing? It's Trek with 2Ks. Yeah, Trek with 2Ks. Is it Trek with 2Ks live? I don't even remember. You know what? We're gonna look right now because I honestly do not remember my own damn handle right now. I know on Twitch it's Trek with 2Ks live. Oh, don't pay attention to that. That was a whole thing. What is it? Yeah, it's Trek with 2Ks. There you go. I don't want to give them extra information. That's just where I'm at right now. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. I mean, we over here just smoking out in public, huh? Anywho. Oh, shout out to my girl Shanique, man. Shaniqua. She's a funny one. If you into what's that reality show stuff, she's a funny one to follow. But anywho, folks, have a good evening, have a good night, have a good week, and yeah. Gotta sneeze. All right, I'm out on this. Where are you? Do. I'm Trek with 2Ks.